Hi you guys. All right, today we are going to be creating cityscapes using a stencil, and we're going to be playing around with positive and negative space. So first thing, I'm going to be using chalk and crayons to create this, but this is a really flexible project. So if you have paint, if you have watercolor, if you just have crayons, or you want to play around with some ink, those are all things that you can do, and I'm kind of going to be showing you how you can modify this project for whatever it is you have at home. Let's get started. Talking about supplies. First thing is you're going to need 2 pieces of paper. They don't have to be 2 different colors, but if you have it and you have 2 different sheets, I would do that. But if you just have white pieces of paper, that's totally fine. You can just use 2 white sheets of paper. The other thing you're gonna need is a pencil, some scissors, a little bit of tape. It doesn't have to be masking tape, but this is what I have on hand. And your coloring supplies. So again, I'm using chalk and crayons. If you have drawing chalk for like outside for your driveway, that's totally fine too. All right, first thing we're gonna do is we're going to remove the undersheet, right? We don't wanna have any of our drawings from this top sheet getting imprinted. So right, if I left this under and I started drawing, whatever lines I made on this sheet would end up here. So we wanna remove that. And then we're gonna just draw our cityscape. If you look at mine here, I played around with a lot of different shapes. So rectangles, I have some curved lines, some circles, some like stairway, which is just rectangles, or you could think of them as squares. Taller shapes, right? We just want a lot of variety. Variety means things look different. There's a lot of different things going on. So I'm gonna be creating, right, if you wanna make some curved lines up top, that's fine too. Down, however you feel like doing it. There's really no set way. All right, ooh, this is kind of tricky for me to go backwards. And then I'm kind of just gonna, right there. So those are my shapes. You can do it any way you want. You don't have to follow along with exactly the shapes I did. And if this is taking any longer, you can always pause the video. After you've got your skyline, right, for your city, you're gonna start cutting out. Now this is where, like here, I made a little bit of a mistake. I kind of had to adjust my lines. This is where when you cut, you can kind of fix all those mistakes, okay? So you don't have to have it perfect the first time, because we're just using this as a stencil. Okay, and actually to save some time, right, so I'm gonna go around, but to save some time, I already have one cut out. So this is what you should end up with, something that looks like this. If you are still cutting, pause the video. Otherwise, when you're ready, you're gonna take your second piece of paper now, and you're gonna put it back on top so that the sides line up. Once you have that, just take tape, whatever kind of tape you have, and you're just gonna tape the bottoms so that your paper isn't moving around while we're coloring. You don't need a lot of tape. You don't need to tape up here, okay? Just down at the bottom corners so that it stays in place. Now, one thing, if you have done this a couple times, or you don't have different colored paper, or you wanna try something different, you can also create your stencil, right, using just tape, okay, just like this. And so I just took my masking tape and I created these shapes directly onto one sheet of paper. And from here, you know, you can do a lot of different things. You can just make the watercolor for the sky, right? We're just doing the sky right now. So you could do a watercolor up here. You could take crayons and make a pencil rubbing, right? You could go over it like this. Okay, maybe do a couple different colors. You could, what other colors do I have? Right, you could blend your colors. Lots of different ways to go about it. And then once you're done with this, right, then you would carefully, ooh, I don't know if I can do it quickly. You could carefully start peeling off your tape, and you'll end up with an outline, just like we're gonna create using 2 sheets of paper. Okay, so this is one other option. Back here though, I'm gonna now take my chalk, and deciding what colors I want, I'm gonna start just real careful, or real loosely. It means you don't have to be super careful. But see how I kind of made the paper go up? That's the one thing you wanna be careful about, and that's why we put this tape here. I'm gonna start coloring on my paper. Oops, it's okay. You get it on the black paper, that's totally fine too. But I'm gonna kind of use my finger to hold it down. And I wanna get a lot of the chalk pigment on the paper. Actually, I'm gonna switch colors now. I'm gonna actually put some in here as well. Okay. And we just want a lot of the pigment, and we're actually putting it on this stencil, which I know seems a little weird because we're gonna be pulling this off. But what you'll see, ooh, as you work, I'm working. Nice color. Let's do yellow. I'll put some yellow in here too so it kind of blends together. Ooh. And we want those little dust particles. We want that. That's our gold right now. Once we have that, we're gonna take our fingers and we're gonna start sliding that chalk up and onto our skyline. And this is where we wanna be super careful and pay close attention to which direction we're going, okay? Because we don't want to come down like this, and see how I'm lifting it up? I wanna be super careful that I keep that paper down flat. So I have a nice clean outline. Okay. There it is with chalk. Now, let's say you're not using chalk, so if you're still working on this, keep going. For those of you who are gonna be doing it maybe with paint, you can go outside, and I'm gonna show you a cool trick for splattering paint. So, I actually did a white on white, just to give you guys some variety, and I have with me some ink and an old toothbrush that I cleaned, but I'm not gonna be using this anymore to brush my teeth. So, it can become some more art supplies. And here's what you do, using your paint or your ink, and your toothbrush, oops, you're gonna carefully dip it in, and then using another stick, pencil, ruler, whatever, you're gonna take the paintbrush, our toothbrush, and you're gonna take the second stick and you're gonna start brushing it up against the bristles. And you want to make sure that you slide the pencil towards you. If you could dip in as you need. If you go like this and you try to like push it onto the paper, it's actually going to work the opposite way, and it's going to end up smacking you in the face or splattering you in the face. So make sure you pull the paintbrush, or sorry, you pull the stick towards you. That's what's gonna make it splatter real nicely onto the paper. And then if you're using this, sorry guys, it almost fell over. If you're using the paint, you need to wait for it to dry, okay? And that's how you use paint. Now, back to the chalk. With the chalk, we don't need to wait for this to dry, so we can just right away, very carefully, remove our stencil. And if you have a little bit of chalk like I do, you can kind of erase it just a little bit. I kind of was showing you what not to do, so hopefully yours is a little bit cleaner than mine. Careful not to smudge it again. I'm blowing on it right now, just to make sure I don't re-smudge it with my fingers. And there you have it. There's your outline, okay? So there's 3 different ways to do it, right? You could do it with chalk, and you can use your stencil like this and smudging it. You can use crayon or watercolor and slowly peel off so that you get your stencil. Or you can use watercolor or ink or paint, right? And I'm gonna be super careful. And once you remove this, you'll have your skyline, your cityscape. From there, it's just a matter of coloring it in. So I took a bunch of different, 2 colors of each, right? So 2 different colors of pink. And I first created my windows, and then I went back over and I kind of added some details in my building. I added a water just at the bottom where it's kind of reflecting, but you can decorate your buildings however you want, okay? So I hope you enjoy. Show your teachers, show me. I cannot wait. Bye-bye, you guys. I miss you.